When you hear the name Gene Simmons, most people picture the fire-breathing demon of Kiss, the man who turned rock into pure spectacle. But what if I told you the latest headlines about him are just as shocking as the chaos he created on stage? From explosive scandals and jaw-dropping business moves to unexpected twists in his personal life, Simmons is once again proving he knows how to keep the world talking. Stick around, because this story goes far deeper than makeup, music, or money. Gene Simmons wasn't always Gene Simmons. He was born Hayimwitz on August 25, 1949, in Haifa, Israel. His mother, Flora Klein, had endured the unthinkable. Born in Hungary in 1925, she was just 14 when the Nazis forced her into labor camps. She lost her mother to a gas chamber and barely survived the horrors of World War II. His father, Yael Witz, had also escaped Hungary. Together, they built a fragile new life in Israel, but the scars of the past never faded. By the time Chaim was 6, his parents' marriage had fallen apart. His father stayed in Israel, remarried, and built a new family. His mother raised him alone, struggling to make ends meet by working in factories. Sometimes their dinner was nothing more than bread and milk. Chaim even made his own winter coat out of an army blanket because there was no money for clothes. His childhood was filled with loneliness, poverty, and survival. School offered no refuge. Other children bullied him for being different. But in the pages of American comic books, Chaim found an escape. Superman and Spider-Man became his secret teachers. He couldn't read English, but he tried, teaching himself word by word. By 7, he spoke Hebrew, Hungarian, and Turkish. And now he was adding English to his growing list. His mother rarely spoke about her wartime trauma, but Chaim felt it in her silence and her tears. He grew up with a vow never to be weak, never to let anyone break him. In 1957, his mother made a daring decision. She took her son and left Israel behind, starting over in Queens, New York. They had no money, no English, and no family waiting. His father remained in Israel, and Chaim never saw him again. In America, he became Eugene Klein, amazed by TV dinners and flush toilets, but still the outsider with an accent. He sold cactuses door to door, worked odd jobs, and struggled to fit in. Kids teased him, but instead of breaking, he toughened up. By age 9, he legally changed his name again, this time to Gene. Inspired by cowboy star Gene Autry, everything shifted on February 9, 1964. When the Beatles appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show. Watching the frenzy, Gene knew what he wanted. He didn't just want music. He wanted the stage, the fame, the power. In the late 1960s, Gene studied education and even worked as a 6th-grade teacher in Spanish Harlem. But his heart was elsewhere. In 1970, he joined forces with Paul Stanley to form Wicked Lester. They recorded an album at Electric Lady Studios, but Epic Records rejected it. Furious, Gene and Paul scrapped the project. By 1973, they regrouped with drummer Peter Criss and guitarist Ace Frehley to form a new band, Kiss. This wasn't just another rock band. This was theater. They painted their faces, created larger-than-life personas, and embraced chaos. Gene became the demon, a monstrous figure who spat blood and breathed fire. Their first show at the Coventry Club in Queens drew only a few people, but those who were there never forgot what they saw. Word spread. Within 2 years, KISS went from empty bars to stadiums. Their breakthrough came with the 1975 release of the live album Alive. It captured the madness of their concerts, the screaming fans, the fire, and the spectacle. The album went quadruple platinum and saved their struggling record label, Casablanca Records. Overnight, KISS became legends. With fame came excess. Gene Simmons built a reputation as a womanizer. He claimed to have slept with nearly 5,000 women, and even took Polaroid photos of his encounters, keeping them as trophies. His obsession with sex became part of his larger-than-life persona. Kiss grew bolder with each album. Destroyer, released in 1976, brought hits like Detroit Rock City and God of Thunder. Their tours turned into full-blown circuses with rockets, smoke, and Simmons flying across arenas. But behind the scenes, cracks formed. Peter Criss spiraled into drug abuse, and by the late 1970s, disco had crept into their sound. Hardcore fans began to drift away. In 1978, NBC aired Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, a bizarre TV movie produced by Hanna-Barbera. The film was widely ridiculed, but Simmons reveled in the attention. His ego seemed unstoppable. Then, in 1983, Kiss shocked the world by taking off their makeup live on MTV. For the first time in a decade, fans saw their real faces. The gamble worked, sales jumped, and the band enjoyed a rebirth. Meanwhile, Simmons was expanding his reach. He appeared in films like the 1984 sci-fi thriller Runaway, playing the villain Luther. He also became entangled in high-profile romances, dating Cher before leaving her for her best friend Diana Ross, igniting one of rock's most infamous scandals. But his real love story was with Shannon Tweed, a Canadian model and actress he met at the Playboy Mansion in 1983. They had 2 children, Nick and Sophie, but for 28 years Gene refused to marry her. He often joked that marriage was a trap, yet his endless affairs pushed Shannon to the edge. In 2011, after discovering his hidden stash of Polaroids, she nearly walked away for good. That same year, Simmons surprised everyone by proposing. On October 1, 2011, after nearly 3 decades together, they were married from 2006 to 2012. Their family life became the subject of the reality series Gene Simmons, Family Jewels on A&E. The show became one of the network's biggest hits, portraying Simmons as a family man, though scandals continued to haunt him off-camera. Business was where Simmons truly thrived. He transformed KISS into a brand empire, licensing their name and imagery onto more than 5,000 products from lunchboxes and action figures to condoms and even coffins. By the 2000s, their merchandise empire had generated over $1 billion. By 2015, Simmons' personal net worth exceeded $400 million. He co-founded the restaurant chain Rock and Brews, released a $2,000 box set called The Vault, and even took a position with a cannabis company as chief evangelist officer. But controversy was never far behind. In 2010, his son Nick Simmons was accused of plagiarizing the manga Bleach for his comic Incarnate. The publisher pulled the book, and fans never let him forget it. In 2017, Gene tried to trademark the devil horns hand gesture, enraging the entire rock community before backing down. Lawsuits piled up over alleged misconduct, though most were quietly settled. In 2018, tragedy struck when his mother Flora passed away at age 93. Simmons called her his moral compass and credited her with everything he had achieved. For once, fans saw him stripped of bravado, grieving the woman who had given him strength to still. Simmons continued to court controversy. In 2024, during a guest appearance on Dancing with the Stars, he made inappropriate remarks about female dancers that went viral, earning him the label of the creepy uncle. He refused to apologize. In 2025, he launched the Gene Simmons Experience, charging fans over $12.00 to act as his roadie for a day. Critics blasted the move as greedy, but it sold out regardless. That same year, Donald Trump announced that Kiss would receive the Kennedy Center honors, shocking fans who remembered Simmons publicly condemning Trump years earlier. Even as the controversies mounted, Simmons pressed forward. In 2025, he launched a solo tour, performing without the elaborate KISS setup. Some tickets sold for over $500, though several shows were canceled due to low sales. When Ozzy Osbourne passed away in July 2025, Simmons broke down in tears during an interview, recalling how Kiss once opened for Black Sabbath in 1975. He revealed that they had even turned down a Sabbath tour because of the band's drug use, a decision that showed Simmons' commitment to keeping his band clean. The legacy of Gene Simmons is one of contradiction. He is the son of a Holocaust survivor who built a billion-dollar empire. He is the fire-breathing demon of rock who secretly carried the scars of childhood poverty. He is both a family man and a relentless womanizer, a genius businessman and a shameless self-promoter. Love him or hate him, his story proves that the mask you wear can change the world, but it can never fully hide who you are behind the fire, the blood, and the endless branding. Gene Simmons is still that hungry boy from Queens, fighting to be remembered forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold legends of rock history. Thanks for watching.